Welcome to the Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I am your host, Mindy Wender-Querio, and I'm a small town go-to girl next door who is obsessed with helping others see more for themselves so they can thrive in all areas of life. I love researching all the things like wellness, mindset, relationships, you name it. If I'm obsessed with it, I get hyper-focused on it and I research the crap out of it, and then I share it with you. If those are things that you're also obsessed with, then keep listening and let's become new best friends. Welcome back to the Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I'm your host, Mindy Wender-Querio, and today we are going to be talking about how to cope with ADD and ADHD, even if you haven't been diagnosed yet, because these are some of the ways that I learned to cope with ADD prior to being diagnosed. So if you didn't listen to part one, I recommend you do that, but you don't have to listen to one before the other. Part one of this podcast was just talking about what ADD is. There's 7 different types. I break down those 7 different types, some ways to treat it because there's different ways to treat all 7 types. It's not just like one thing for ADD. And I also talked about what some symptoms that you may experience if you do have ADHD. So now that you know all about ADD and ADHD, now let's talk about how to cope with that. So, first of all, backstory is I was never a good student. I could just not pay attention. I wasn't like this hyperactive person, as in like physical, but I was hyper in my thoughts. Like my thoughts were like I was always thinking, my brain never shut off. Do you feel like that? So if you are a woman or maybe you have a daughter that has ADHD, girls' symptoms present themselves sometimes, not always, differently than boys. So sometimes when you see a child, a young boy with ADHD, they can't sit still, they're hyperactive, but like ADHD, I have, and I wasn't that person that was bouncing off the walls, but my mind was, I couldn't focus. I was always distracted. My mind was always going. So that's where the hyperactive part came for me, was in my brain. So again, there's 7 different types of ADD. Only two of those types benefit from medication. If you are on medication, some different types of, so 2 types benefit from the medication. And there's a couple types that actually make, like for me, my type of ADHD, if I took Adderall or Ritalin, it would actually make my symptoms worse. So it's like a no, no, no. So to me, what I have learned about my ADHD is it's truly my superpower. It's a gift. And I truly believe that. I believe I was really born to be an entrepreneur. I was born to just be this person. And that's because of my ADHD. My brain works differently than other people's brains. Like my brain works differently than my spouse's brain. And we have open communication, which we'll talk about in a second. So he understands, like, hey, I get it. Her brain just doesn't work like mine. An example that I shared on the last podcast is like, and I'm not trying to compare one or the other, so don't come at me, trolls. But what I'm saying is, like, if you were in a wheelchair, your spouse wouldn't be like, well, let's just take the stairs. Your spouse would be like, let's find a ramp to go in the building. Same thing is true with ADHD. My brain just works differently. So it's not like I'm not taking the stairs, I need a ramp. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is like coping mechanisms on how to deal with your ADHD and truly turn it into your superpower, because you can, and you can accomplish so much, and you're not stupid. Let's just start here. You are not stupid. You are not broken. You don't have Alzheimer's. Okay. You're not rude. You're not selfish. You're not needing to question yourself because you blurt something out and now you're overthinking it, thinking like everyone hates you. Like, this is a superpower. And now you're going to learn, you already know all the symptoms and all those things. Now we're going to learn how to cope with those symptoms so you don't beat yourself up. And we're going to learn, like, to accept the fact that we have ADHD, or accept that our partner or our friend or our parent or our child, whoever the person, you have a loved one with ADHD, we are going to learn to accept and give grace and learn these coping mechanisms to help ourselves or our loved ones around us. Deal? Okay. Before we get started into this, I'm going to play a little clip and I'm going to show you, like, I'm going to have you listen to the point where I was on the phone with my doctor. And just to, give you a little background, I went to the Amen Clinic in Chicago, and there's endless amount of tests to get tested for ADD. So you have to do like a long questionnaire. You have to do some like testing, like answering questions, multiple choice, like all of these things. There's tons and tons of testings. Then you have like an interview process with people who are asking you questions. And then they actually take an image called a SPECT image, a SPECT scan of your brain. So that's why it's so comprehensive, because these doctors are not a lot of people who are diagnosing people with ADD. And this is why I chose the Amen Clinic instead of this way, is that they're only doing the questions parts or the testing part. They're not actually looking at the brain. And by the way, I understand if you can't, afford to get a SPECT scan or the supplementations or whatever. That's why I want to create this episode, because I want you to be able to, first of all, I highly recommend getting a SPECT scan. But if you can't, then let's just talk about how we can cope with these things. But I want to share with you some little pieces from my appointment when I was diagnosed with ADHD at age 38.
Resting and concentration side by side. This is your brain on the left, resting, on the right, concentrating. Now, at rest, it looks pretty good overall. I get super nitpicky with the scan, so don't mind me.
Okay.
The technician's report will also be sent to you on email. The technician's report may say this looks like a head injury pattern. I know you fell off the bike, wheelie, 21 years of age. I read about that. That doesn't mean that caused this. Other things can also result in a head injury pattern that's seen on the scans. Temporal lobes are affected. The frontal lobes are affected. When you concentrate, the frontal lobes give out on you, but the opposite is supposed to happen. It's supposed to rise to the occasion. This is really interesting because this pattern with the frontal lobes dropping instead of rising when you concentrate is seen in ADHD. So there's multiple reasons why I think you have ADHD, and you meet all the criteria, like the textbook. Okay, so you have ADHD, but also when you concentrate, the temporal lobes fall off. The temporal lobes help us with controlling that emotional pendulum, emotional stability, and new learnings, working memory, short-term memory. So when you're tasked with something even as simple as the spacebar with the X test, your temporal lobes don't regulate your emotional pendulum very well. So your emotional pendulum starts swinging to more extreme levels than it should. So you might perceive even a minor stressor as an emotional tsunami in certain situations. And what does the frontal lobe do? Think about cognitive stuff, think about mood, attention, concentration, executive functioning, task organization, planning, prioritizing, processing speeds, but also motivation, drive, interest, pleasure, joy. It's driven by dopamine. Now, other things can also hurt these areas. Poor sleep is a massive one. As I said, I'm a sleep expert. When we look at my NFL guys, sports psychiatry and boxers, we see their head injury scans. You will not know the difference between a traumatic brain injury or a sleep deprivation, insomnia, or sleep apnea study. They look identical. They look
Really?
like a brain.
That's insane to me. Wow.
Yeah. And I just gave a talk yesterday at a virtual symposium on the impact of sleep. You need to aim for 7.5 hours of consistent sleep all nights of the week.
Okay.
And there's supplements to help with that. There's certain strategies to help with that. And of course, there's always medication, but I almost never prescribe sleep medications like Ambien or Lunesta, Belsomra. Almost never. In fact, I'm usually taking people off those when they come to me for just sleep consults. progesterone, low testosterone, anything that affects the function of the frontal lobes. Okay.
Okay.
I also put on certain supplements to help boost these areas to function better right off the bat. SSRIs like Prozac, Paxil, Lexapro, horrible choices for you. If anyone suggests that you should be on them, say no.
Okay.
Good options would be, there's a medicine, if we're thinking about a medicine, there's a medicine called guanfacine, or there's another one in the same family called clonidine. I'll explain what they do.
Okay.
They're not stimulant medication. So they're not going to just boost your dopamine here, because if I just give you stimulant like Adderall or Vyvanse or Concerta or Ritalin, it's going to make your emotional pendulum swing wider, so you'll have more anxiety. Bad idea. But these ones, one of these, helps calm the nervous system down, help you with calm focus. They drive the sympathetic nervous system down. And in fact, clonidine, well, was originally designed as a blood pressure medicine because it works on the nervous system to calm it down a little bit. It was also found to be very effective for PTSD symptoms, that situational overwhelm. There's other better options.
Okay. Okay. So that was my doctor. That was my appointment. That was last year, I believe, when my son Hudson and I went together and we both got SPECT scans. And that was my appointment with my doctor. As you can see, my treatment plan, he actually said to me, taking Adderall or Ritalin or whatever, those things would make it worse for me and make my anxiety worse. Make it so what I'm saying is it's important to do your research, to really do a deep dive and channel your awesome ADD, ADHD, superpowers, and deep dive research to help your type of ADD. Okay. Also, before we get into this, please share this. Share this with somebody who you think it will help. Like if you know, have a bestie and she struggles with ADD, or you might think, hey, this is us. Oh my gosh, this is so us. Maybe send this episode to them. Or if like you have your spouse or somebody has ADD, share this with them, because this is going to help so many people, the information I'm going to give you, because this is how I was able to go from feeling, literally, you guys, I was a horrible student, didn't do well on testing, didn't do good at school. I was very impulsive. I couldn't focus on anything. Like my friendships probably were like, because it's very out of sight, out of mind with people with ADHD. It's not like we're not thinking about you, but we're just like out of sight, out of mind people, or we forget to text. We think in our head, I should really text this person and say this because I'm thinking about them, but then we forget to do it. So we seem like bad friends. Like I went through my whole life thinking all of these things, like I was broken, until I became a mother. And that was when I found a passion and I found a business. And that led me to be inspired and motivated by creating coping mechanisms to help me succeed in this business so I could provide for my family, so I could quit my job to be present with my son, and because I wanted to become a mom that my son Lane could be proud of. And those things changed my life, because even though I was undiagnosed, I was going inward and I was thinking, how could I better myself? How can I make this business work? How could I be a better mother? And I was testing things out, and some things worked, some things did not work. But then over a couple of years, I developed these coping mechanisms that helped me build a multiple 7-figure business. And now I have multiple businesses, and now we have 5 children. And now, you know what I mean? So these things can work for you. So I just want to give you hope or I want to tell you that there is hope, and there's ways to not only treat these things, treat your symptoms, treat your ADHD, but also use your ADHD as your superpower. Okay. First of all, your brain is the most important organ. Duh. So this is why we need to really focus on treating it and developing these coping mechanisms to help us use our brain the best way that we can, and the way our brain works, not doing the things that works for somebody without ADHD. That ain't working for us. We need to do things a little bit differently, and that's okay. Okay, so most doctors do not even look at the brain, like I told you. They just want to give you a medication, ask you some questions, and all those things. That's the difference between those people and the Amen Clinic. And that's why I went to the Amen Clinic. Okay, so I am going to give you 10 different ways to cope with your ADHD. Okay, number one, focus on one single task. Instead of focusing on multiple things all at one time, I want you to try to focus on one thing at a time. And this is going to be extremely difficult at first. But once you have the knowledge and awareness that you have ADD, then you're going to be like, okay, I know knee-jerk reaction from my brain and for me is that I want to do this and then I want to do this and then I want to do this. But this is not what we're doing now. We're trying to cope with it. So what we're going to do is focus on one single task at a time, and it's going to be hard. Okay? It was for me, and you should see how I clean. This is the way I clean though, and I feel like it's the most efficient. I'm not fixing it because it's not broken. But my husband teases me because I'll be like in the kitchen. I was like, okay, I got to put this stuff in the pantry. Then I'm up in my office. Then I'm just carrying around things. I'm carrying around things from a bedroom, from a kitchen, from a bathroom. And I'm just carrying around things going from all these multiple different rooms. And I swear to you though, when I hire somebody to clean my house, I'm like, how is it possible that it takes them this long to clean my house when it takes me 30 minutes? Not really 30 minutes. I'm exaggerating, but like I'm so much more efficient and I'm so much faster because of my ADHD. So I realized, and plus I live here. And so I know everything has a place and I know where it is. And it's almost like I hate cleaning so much that I like want to time myself to get it done fast. But anything other than cleaning my house and I'm multitasking, I try to just focus on one task at a time. This is going to make you more productive. So you will have to fight against that urge that seems the natural, normal way. You have to fight against it because what happens when you're bouncing from task to task to task and trying to multitask when you have ADHD, it leaves your brain feeling exhaustion because your brain is bouncing around all these different areas, especially if you're somebody who's working on a computer or an entrepreneur or a creator or somebody like that, or even a mom. It's like sometimes we can't help it. Of course, moms we have to multitask, right? But like if you can help it, it's important to try to fight against what feels natural and normal and focus on one thing at a time instead of bouncing around just because of shiny objects, right? Oh, yeah, but I got to do this and I got to organize that and then I'll do this and then I'm going to do that. No, one thing at a time. And we are going to go through 10 different things to help you do this, okay? Again, the reason is because it will leave you feeling and your brain feeling mental exhaustion, okay? Number 2, learn to communicate your needs for your ADHD. I will actually tell my spouse, I will tell Joey, I cannot process this information or handle this right now. Tell me later. I'm like, okay, wait. Sometimes I just like if you're watching on YouTube, I close my eyes and put my hand up to my forehead. I'm like, whoa, wait. It's almost like I'm trying to hold my brain in place to not forget what I'm doing. That's what I feel like it looks like. I'd never thought about that before, and I'm just like, wait. I cannot process that at this moment. So learn this sentence. Hey, I cannot process that right now. So just hold that thought or write it down and I'll let you know when I'm able to. Boom, done. Because what happens is when you are interrupted and when you're trying to focus and you are interrupted, it takes, for me anyways, 15 to 20 minutes to get back to my focus mode and be able to focus on what I'm doing and accomplish something and finish it and complete the task. Hey, what's up? Oh my God, this kid. I cannot. I'm recording a podcast. What do you need?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask you. There's this putter that's really cheap. It's like $20. Could I get it? Because I need a new putter.
Sure, Lane. But I'm recording. You're literally on the podcast right now. Okay, bye. Calls me twice to buy a putter. Like, should we just leave that? This is what I'm talking about. You text your son when he's calling you on repeat when you're recording a podcast to see if he can buy a $20 putter when he's golfing with his buddies. And you tell him, I cannot process this information or answer your question right now. Please call me back at 2:00. Okay. I don't know, Joelle. my podcast producer, Joelle. You decide if we should take it or leave it on that one. Oh my goodness gracious. And this is what I was talking about with mom life. Sometimes as a mom, you need to multitask. Okay. Another thing you could say is, sorry, can you add that to the family calendar? And literally, that family calendar situation saves me, saves me. So what I did is in my iCal, so I use an iPhone, I created a calendar and I made the color blue and I called it our family calendar. And everyone in the family who has an iPhone, obviously the younger kids don't, has access to add things to the calendar and see the event in the calendar. So I will actually put in the calendar, which I should have today. Mom has a podcast interview. Don't call. Don't call during this time. No, but for doctor's appointments, for whatever there is, games, sporting events. So we all are on the same page. And like, I don't have to be the one calling Joey and being like, when's Lennon's game? When's Mason's game? And then he's calling me, when's Lane's game? When's Lily's horse riding? Like, it's all in the calendar. Check the calendar. So I don't have to be bothered. I don't have to bother you. It's all in the calendar. And I'm going to call Joey out right now. Is Joey isn't as good as I am about putting things in the calendar, but he like knows the events in his head. He has it figured out. He has this, he's looking, it's like his brain doesn't work like mine. So he doesn't feel it's as important to put things in the calendar. But Joey, I know you listen to the podcast. It is important for my brain to put things in the calendar, because then all I'm thinking about is like, okay, when's Mason's game? When's Lennon's game? If that isn't in my calendar, I'm always, because another thing about ADD is if it's not right now and it's later, we feel like we can't focus on it. So when Joey's like, hey, in 2 weeks, yada, yada, yada's happening. I'm like, okay, I heard what he said, but I'm not willing to process what he said and remember what he said because it's not right now. It's later. Does anyone else get like that? If it's right now, so then like on the day of something, I'm like, okay, wait, is something today? And then I can process it because it's right now. It's today. It's at 2. It's at 3. Okay, that's when you tell me, but also I have to plan because I have businesses. So like if it's in the family calendar though, then I can look on my own time without having to make a phone call or text Joey to ask the event. That's later. You get what I mean? You guys with ADHD, you're like, I'm on the same page as you. And anybody without ADHD is just like, this girl's nuts. But listen, our brains work differently. So just stick with this episode. We have to learn how to not get mad. Okay. We have to learn how to not get mad when somebody without ADD tries to talk to us when we are focused or calls us to get a putter. So we got to try not to get mad with people that don't have ADHD when they try to talk to us or they interrupt us because when we're not able to process the information, because their brains don't work like ours. And unless we are open and communicating our needs for our brain, we can't expect somebody to just like assume that somebody just gets it. We have to let them know. Okay. Kids with ADHD and on the spectrum, they thrive with structure and routine. Okay. So it's important for us because we are also on that spectrum. So I watch Lily, for example, and she's very ADD, right? She's all over the place and she's kind of messy, whereas Hudson is very organized and clean. So she will just be like, this goes here, this goes there. But if you teach that girl a routine and you are structured with it and she knows what to do and she's working from a list, that girl will vacuum the stairs. She will make her bed. She will put clothes in the dirty hamper. She puts the toothbrush and toothpaste exactly where it goes. She will I got her a tongue scraper. So at first she was just brushing her teeth and I help her with that and whatever. And then she was done and I'm creating a routine with her and structure with her, telling her after we brush our teeth, first brush teeth, then tongue scrape. Okay. So now she's getting in the habit, in the routine of doing that without me having to tell her. Same thing with cleaning her room and stuff, but it's constant. Like I don't have to remind Hudson of something. Once it's a routine and he's very OCD, he likes things, everything has a place and it needs to be there. And that's great. But with Lily, her brain works differently. So she thrives off of structure and routine. And so do you. If you have ADD or ADHD, you need to have structure and routine. Okay. I wanted to quickly tell you about a free resource that I created for you. I made a Mindset 101 ebook. So it's really quick, it's fast. You go to my website, you download it, and you could start reading it and then start applying the things that I teach in this ebook. What I found is that it's hard to know where to start, I feel like. And so when I'm chatting with people in the DMs, they're just like, I am so negative. I feel so down about myself. I'm so insecure. I have no goals. I don't know where to begin. Somebody help me. That's what led me to want to create this ebook. So what's great about this, it's going to teach you, first of all, to get self-aware and to find your starting point. So then you can identify the things that you need to work on and what we need to improve on. And then I go through and teach you how to reframe situations or thoughts or beliefs and replace those lies with truths. That is huge, changing your self-limiting beliefs. And then I go through and I give you a full page of affirmations. I give you resources like my favorite podcasts that can help in this area and just all the things. And it's completely free for you. So just go to mindywender.com and then go to the freebie tab and you can download it today. Okay, number 3, reminders. So alerts in your phone or your calendar, the family calendar, like I just said, so everyone gets the memo. Most people with ADHD, we have time blindness, as we talked about in part 1 of this episode. So I could work, like I was saying in part 1, I could work all day long for 8 hours and not feel hunger or not realize I have to pee. Okay. Not realize I have to go to the bathroom because I am just so hyper focused that I lose track of time. Same thing is when it's trying to get ready for an event or how long it takes for the drive. Like I'll be like, oh, I could be ready in 15 minutes, but I'm not putting in the time that it takes to drive there. So again, like I said in part 1 of this episode, is I will call my husband. I'm like, okay, so I have this, and this to do, and I have to be at this game at this town at this time. What time do I have to be ready by and what time do I have to leave by? And he'll be like, he's very good at that. So I have that communication with my spouse and I let him know, he helps me with that because he knows that I have time blindness. But if you ask majority of the people that know me, you're not seeing me as this unreliable, scattered, all over the place, late person who doesn't show up for things. No, I'm reliable. I'm consistent. I have routine and structure. And that is why I can be reliable and consistent and on time and I show up. And what I say I'm going to do, I do. I'm committed and I'm consistent. But that's because of these coping mechanisms, these coping strategies that I'm sharing with you today. Once I got these in place in my life, that is who I became. The person that I truly am inside, that's who I became because I learned how to use the ADHD as my superpower. Okay. So putting alerts in your phone or in your calendar helps a ton. So for example, setting daily reminders to do certain things like daily reminder to work out at a certain time. So that's routine and structure. This is going to sound bad, but like even the little things, I'll have an alert in my phone that says text Lane, or it'll be text my dad to say hi, or it could be text my husband to say something nice. And I know I did like a wait a minute episode that's I think it was titled Sexy Relationship Tip. And one of those things we're setting an alert in my phone to remind myself to send a flirty text to my husband. Now that kind of takes out the whatever you call it, I don't know, maybe flirtiness about it, but it's not my fault. It's the way I'm thinking about it. I want to do it, but I lose track or I forget or I get, I'll do that later. So it's important for me. It's not that I'm not thinking of Lane, my son, or my dad, or my husband, or a friend. It's that I need to have alerts in my phone to remind me to do the things that I know I want to do, but I know I'll forget to do. So setting alerts in your phone for that, Post-it note reminders. So not only alerts in your phone, setting alerts in your phone to remind you of things, but also putting out post-it reminders on certain things till they become more of like an anchor, which we'll talk about in a second too. But post-it reminders on the front door that if it's something that you're always forgetting when you leave the house, put a post-it reminder on the front door that says, don't forget your keys or your sunglasses or whatever it is. Or like maybe a post-it in your car, check gas lights. This is so funny, but like it's our lives, right? Like it's things that whatever the things are, and you're going to have to listen to this and then go through your daily life and see, oh, I do always, I forget this, or this would be helpful. And then apply the things that you're learning on this episode to your daily life that works for you. Okay, so reminders, setting reminders in your phone and post-it note reminders. Number 4, systems. Systems will help you stay structured and have a daily routine. You need to have a system so your brain doesn't even have to think about the things that you need to do, and that you're writing it down and you're staying on track, but you don't have to think about it. Because if we have to think about it, that's taking too much of our brain power and we're not going to feel like doing it. So you guys know something that I created for myself who has ADHD is something called the hyper focus journal. Now, in my 20s, before I was even diagnosed with this, and like I said, I wanted to be home with my son. I had big goals. I was trying to build a business. So I started this system 15 years ago. And throughout the years, yes, I tweaked some things and changed some things, even since I created the Hyper Focus Journal. The brand new ones that are coming out in the fall, game changers. There's certain tweaks and enhancements, I guess you could call, that we made it to be even better, because that's what we're always trying to do is be better, better, better. So anyways, I created this system to help me be able to build a business, be a good mother, have daily affirmations, because I'll explain that in a second. So the Hyper Focus Journal, basically what it is a 90-day goal setting system, but it's more than that. Okay, so helps you with a morning routine, again, routine and structure. It helps you with habit stacking. It helps you time block. It helps you prioritize tasks. And it helps you get all of your random thoughts and ideas out on paper. So we're going to talk about number 5 is going to be journaling. So we'll talk about journaling next. But in the Hyper Focus Journal, it's very 5-step process, because people with ADD and ADHD, we don't want all the fluff. We don't want 3 pages to read when we get a planner or a journal, because we don't have time. We don't have the focus and attention span for all of that stuff. So I created this basic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very basic 1 page to read the 5 steps. And then you go through step 1, step 2, and you only have to do this once every 90 days. Okay. So you go through the 5-step goal setting process system. And after that, your daily pages, this is what your day will look like. And it takes 3 minutes. Yes, 3 minutes. Because guess what? If I told you, oh, you're going to need 30 minutes to do this morning routine in the Hyper Focus Journal, you would be like, okay, I'm out, because we have ADD. We don't have time for that. We don't have attention span for that. We don't have focus for that. Girl, I got you. This is why I created this. It was created by somebody with ADHD. So that's how I know it works. Okay. And you know what? If you don't have ADD, it still could work for you. It really could. And if you're somebody that likes to just, you can focus, you need like an hour to like do your morning routine and do all the things. And you want to like make it really cute and crafty. And by the way, people with ADHD are very creative. It's just, it needs to be something we're interested in. And my morning routine, I need to be getting it done, getting focused, organized, prioritizing my tasks, organizing my thoughts, getting everything out of my head. I can't be distracted by the bells and whistles, like colorful, multicolorful highlighters and markers and pens and stickers and tape and a ruler. And I can't do any of that. And I've tried so many journals. This is the only one that I stick to. And that's what so many of you, because a lot of you listeners got the Hyper Focus Journal and you guys say, this is the first journal I actually use. That's why, because you're like me and we don't want all the fluff. We want to just get the job done. Okay, so your daily routine, what it will look like in this system, in the Hyper Focus Journal system, it's going to look like affirmations. And by the way, it's all wrote out for you. So you don't even have to think about it. So it's saving your brain power and your focus for other things. Affirmations are good for people with ADD and ADHD. It's good for anybody, but the reason why it's good for us is because our brains are always coming. It's just go, 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 go. We have so many thoughts, so many negative thoughts, positive thoughts, random thoughts. Our brain doesn't stop. And so what can happen is we can sometimes hold on to maybe a negative thought or an insecurity. Like, for example, if you didn't know, if you're undiagnosed, you might have thought, I'm rude because I'm late, or I have Alzheimer's, or I suck, or I'm stupid. We need to reprogram those self limiting beliefs. One way to do that is with affirmations, doing them daily, consistently, and making it part of your routine and your system that you do every single day, your structured system routine. Over time, your belief system will change and you'll realize that this is your superpower and all of the things. Okay. So it starts out with you doing affirmations. Then it goes into rewriting your 3 top goals, and we call those your hyper focus goals. And then you create a hyper focused task list, to do list. This list is only to dos that have to do with your 3 hyper focus goals. Okay. Under that, we do our gratitude because we want to start out our day in a state of gratitude. So you write out your gratitude, and then there's a habit tracker or a daily routine tracker. So it's a little bar at the top that has little icons that represent something. So there's like a little weight on there, that's for working out. There's a water bottle on there, that's for water intake. There's somebody like little feet walking up the steps, that's a step count. So whatever your goal for step every single day, once you hit that, you circle it. There's headphones for listening to a podcast or listening to an audiobook, and there's a book on there for reading, whether it's your Bible or personal growth book. So it actually helps you because your brain needs, it's not a requirement. My doctor told me this. Somebody with ADHD needs a structured daily routine where you wake up at the same time every morning, you do a morning routine, you work out at the same time. Like, it needs to be similar to that because we thrive on structure and routine. So this hyper focused journal in this system helps your brain work properly and as using your ADHD as your superpower. You're welcome. So under that, then it has just a brain dump to-do list. So all the other things that you have to do for the day. So that could be like going to Lane's game, hitting up my nail appointment, folding laundry. And then you can prioritize in your, like, once it's out of your brain and on paper, then you can prioritize your tasks. And this is a tip that I learned from Brian Tracy. And I read the book, Eat That Frog. So he talks about prioritizing your tasks, and it's very simple, basic. This is why I love Brian Tracy. But he talks about an idea, a concept that he has called eating that frog. And that means doing the task that you're dreading the most, doing that task first, getting it out of the way, because then your brain just is like, oh, okay, that's over. And you got it out of the way. Now everything else will just seem easy peasy. And then you kind of prioritize from there. So do the hardest task first. And then sometimes we put things, especially people with ADD, we'll put things on our list that aren't really important that we want to do because that we're interested in it. So we kind of have to fight against, like, yes, I know I kind of want to create this project or do gardening or whatever the thing is that you like to do. And I kind of want to do that over something that I really have to do. So once you see it visually in your journal, you can then say, okay, it helps you prioritize instead of just running around scattered all day long. And then at the end of the day, what happens when you have ADHD and you're not using this journal or doing a system like this? You're like, I accomplished nothing, absolutely nothing, but I'm exhausted. Your brain's fried, you're exhausted, and you got nothing done. That is why you need this system or a system like this, or do this system in a notebook. I don't care. I just want you to help yourself and your brain. Okay. So, and then let's go into journaling. Okay. So and also just before we go into journaling, There is proven studies that show that you taking a pen to paper and actually hand writing your goals, hand writing your tasks out on paper, it's like neuroscience. It does something in your brain that helps your brain, and you accomplish more, you remember more, you focus more, and it just gives you mental clarity, and it helps you like calm your brain. I don't know how to explain it. It's like peace and calmness. That's what I always talk about when I talk about this journal. It's like peace and calmness and clarity. That's what you get from this. Also, you 10x your goals and all these other things. But the main thing, especially for somebody with ADHD, is you gain peace, calmness, and clarity when you hand pen to paper, write out your tasks, write out your goals, write out your affirmations, and then journaling, which is the next thing, number 5. So most people with ADHD are very visual people, and we're very creative. We have so many ideas. That's why people with ADHD are awesome entrepreneurs, because they're impulsive, they're risk takers, they'll do the things. But on top of that, they have so many ideas and so many creative ideas, and it's all going in their head. But what happens if we don't get it out on paper and journal about these things and brain dump? I call them brain dumps. If we don't get these thoughts and ideas and goals out of our head, and these visions out of our head with journaling, what happens is then we don't think about them again. They're on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. So what's so great is when we so in the hyper focus journal, you have that daily page. On the next page, so every single day, I left you a blank page titled thoughts and ideas. It's just blank. So you could journal every single day. So part of my morning routine, after I do you can go back to the episode on morning routine, but after I do my whole thing with reading my Bible, doing all these things, praying, I will actually journal and get all new ideas that have come up from either reading my Bible or from rewriting my goals and writing out my tasks. And I will just brain dump ideas, thoughts, and then I don't have to fill the whole page, because throughout the day, I'm going to have more ideas, more thoughts, more visions. And so I have my journal. It's very small and compact and whatever. And I created that for a reason, so we can take it with us wherever we go. And I'll just open up my journal and start journaling things. Okay. So journaling can help you. It's really, really important for somebody with ADHD, especially because we have all these thoughts, but we also are visual people. So there was a time that I was just like, I just foresee this huge thing. It was actually part of why I created the hyper focus journal. And I drew out, and you guys know this, I'm a Disney nerd, obsessed with Disney for years and years and years. We go multiple times a year. I built a house 6 miles from Magic Kingdom. Like, I'm obsessed. So what do? Is I had this vision of the Magic Kingdom. And if you don't know this, the Magic Kingdom is structured as like a hub and spoke type of situation. So the hub is the castle, and then out from the castle is all the different lands. So there's Main Street, Adventureland, Fantasyland, Liberty Square, a Tomorrowland, you get it. And so I wrote myself as the castle, and then I branched out all the spokes to Magic Kingdom, as in like those were different things about me. Right. And so I had to draw that out in my journal and my hyperfocus. Well, this was before. This is when I was doing the hyperfocus journal system in a notebook. Anyway, so I drew this out in my journal, and I was like, oh my gosh, that gave me so much mental clarity on the vision that God had planted in my mind and in my heart, like as to what I was supposed to do next. So if I wasn't somebody that was into journaling and doing these things, that that would have been out of sight, out of mind, on to the next. So it's very, very important. We're very visual people. Number 6, your environment. When you change your environment, you change your awareness. But also, we are very easily distracted people. Okay. It's very hard for us to focus on one task and focus in general. So it's important that if you're an entrepreneur, if you work from home, find an environment in your home that doesn't have a ton of clutter, that doesn't have a bunch of distractions, that somewhere you can be alone, like all of that. And then if you don't, and you are going to have like people around you and you have a work environment, an office where you're around other people, get noise canceling headphones. I personally, I can't remember the new brand I got, but before my house fire, I had Bose noise canceling headphones. But then my husband found this different brand that was a lot cheaper and he got me that for Christmas and they work literally just as good. Like, I'm not even kidding. I think they're like sound something. Anyway, get noise canceling headphones, put them on, and just do the noise canceling or put some music, not music that would distract you, more like white noise or I forget anyway, some sounds that help you focus, not music that's going to distract you though. Okay. And put that on and have that playing while you work and try to focus on a single task because people around you are going to be like, oh, that person has noise canceling headphones on. I'm not going to bother her right now. That helps give people the signal of that. But also, it helps you from being distracted because I know me, I'm a social butterfly. My fourth grade teacher labeled me and nicknamed me the social butterfly in fourth grade. And that's because I was going from desk to desk to desk to desk because I was so unable to focus because there were so many people that I wanted to talk to and I wanted to see what they were doing. And he was just like, I just told you to sit in your desk. Not only are you getting distracted, but you're distracting all these people that you're going to their desk. I was like, oh, yeah. I forgot. So, I mean, yeah, I want to be social, but if I put noise canceling headphones on, I'm able to focus better without wanting to like run down and talk to somebody or like call Joey up here, hang out with me while I work. No, that's going to distract me. Okay. Again, decluttering your area will definitely help you because I know for me when I'm working, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to clean up my desk or I have to clean up the living room. I have to do this, that, and the other thing because if my house is very cluttered, then I cannot concentrate. Also, developing systems to clean. I feel like that's something that no one talks about. I have a system and I've trained my children with the new house. And so we all have follow this system of cleaning. So it's like on Thursdays, you bring up your laundry and you set it at the laundry room door. I'll throw it in, change it, and I'll set it on top of the steps. You bring it down, you fold and put away. That type of systems. For Joey and I, like he has his chores in a system and I have mine. So I'm constantly reminding kids and showing them like there's a place for everything. So once they learn, and even Lily, who has autism, but I'm talking even Lane, Mason, Lennon, like once you can teach them, like this is where this goes every single day and every week, like you guys, and get them on a structured system and routine for their own environment, it's like it's heaven. It's heaven. It's hard to develop it at first. It takes some groundwork. And the other thing that I had to do for myself is I was hating laundry. And so laundry is obviously part of your environment because you have like piles of laundry. Then you have to wash it all. And then your laundry room's a mess. Then it goes in your bedroom and then it's on the chair and you need to fold it. And then you have to put it away. And then you don't want to put it away. So it ends up in your closet and then your closet's cluttered. So I was having a really hard time with that. And so how I fixed that is Jackie, my sister again. So she told me what you need to do is just do laundry every day or every other day. And so that's what I taught my kids too. Because what happens is why you hate it and why it's so daunting for our brains is because, well, at least for me, is because it's like, I don't want to fold that many clothes. But if it's like a small task instead of a large task, that's easier for my brain to be like, okay, I can do that. Even though I'm not interested in it, I am interested in organization for my brain to have that clarity and not be overwhelmed. And I want my house to just feel peace, calmness, not cluttery mess that hurts my brain. Because as you heard on part one, that's a symptom of ADHD is that you're not organized. So people can think of you as a dirty little hamster, but really you don't want to be a dirty little hamster. It's just how our brains are, right? Okay. So what I do now is I just do a load of laundry and I separate everything. And no, I don't mean colors because all that crap goes in one load. Okay. I'm not there yet. Don't tell my mom. She would kill me. So what I do is Hudson, Lily, and mine all go in a load together. And I do a load every day or every other day. And then I fold that all. And then Hudson will help me put his away. Lily will help me put hers away, or help me to put hers away. I help her to put hers away. You guys get it. Joey's, that's you. It's on you. If you ask me to do your laundry, I will wash it, dry it, and then it's up to you to fold and put away. Okay. This is just the way our household works. It's not the way, it doesn't have to be how yours works. We all are part of, I call us a team, and everybody on the team has a role in order to make the house keep moving. And before the house fire, it was all on me, and now it's a team effort. And so then I think it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I actually have them on different days. So maybe Monday and Wednesday is Lane, and then Tuesday and Thursdays is Mason, Lennon, whatever. They have to bring up their laundry. I wash it, dry it when they're at school or they're out and about, whatever. And then at night, the things at the top of the stairs, they're required to fold it and put it away. So they're supposed to do it that same day. And that just works for everybody because it's small tasks of laundry folding, laundry putting away for the kids. It's small tasks for me. Joey, I don't think he's got the memo. He just does the whole load maybe once a week. I don't know. He needs to get on our level. But dude, that has helped me with the dreading of doing laundry now. That tip that I got from my sister, because it really is the fact that you don't want to do it all. I just told my niece Mackenzie the same thing. She needs to do this. Okay, number 7, anchors. So putting your hyperfocus journal by the coffee pot or by your skincare. If you do skincare or wash your face in the morning, putting your hyperfocus journal on your vanity or on your sink, using post-it notes for triggers. And you don't have to keep this post-it notes on the thing every day. You just need to put it on there till like a month, till it becomes like an anchor. It's just like an anchor for you. So another thing that could be an anchor for you is picking out your workout clothes or your clothes for the next day and setting them out near your bed. So you're getting out of bed at the same time every morning, right? Because we want to create routine and structure for your brain. So I get out of bed in a perfect world, 6 a.m., get out of bed, put on my workout clothes, and then I do, and you guys will have to listen to my morning routine episode because my morning routine is very routine, but that's why my brain loves me. Because my ADHD loves me and works as a superpower because I structure my day and do these things to cope with it, to make it a superpower instead of something that's bringing me down. Okay. So those are the anchors and triggers really, really help to do that. So like I said, picking out your workout clothes will trigger you to get out of bed. You don't have to think about what you're wearing. Your outfit's picked out. Your shoes are right there. And it's going to trigger you, if this is your routine like it is mine, to, okay, well, now I'm ready for my workout. So it's going to trigger you to, after your morning routine and after your whatever, now you're going to work out, or maybe it's before your morning routine. Who knows? Number 8, eliminate your distractions. Obviously, this could be, I have something on my phone, on an iPhone, you can create, what are they called? Like it's do not disturb, or what, it's like modes, right? And you can create a fitness mode. So what I realized is that when I used to wear an Apple Watch, I don't anymore, but it used to, when I would schedule, like say I'm lifting weights, it would be like all my calls and everything, my phone and my watch would go to fitness mode. So all my text messages and calls wouldn't go through because I was working out. I was like, hey, that has helped me a lot to not be distracted by my phone during my workouts. And when it's past 10 o'clock, my phone automatically doesn't show me text messages. My phone doesn't go off. No, none of that. And I think I have it set for, except for like Lane or Joey or something like that. And so I thought to myself, I'm going to create a mode called hyper focus mode. So when I'm working, only calls again from Joey or Lane can come through on my phone. And I might have put Brad in there too. Brad's my kid's dad. So I might have put him in there too in case there's an emergency when the kids aren't with me. So anyways, so if those 3 people call me, it will go through. And if it's not those 3 people, I'm not getting your notification because I'm working. That helps my brain so much to eliminate distractions. So creating that mode on your phone, putting your phone in airplane mode, putting your phone in the different room, same thing at bedtime. If you're right when you wake up, the first thing you do is get on your phone, put your phone in a different room at bedtime. If you are able to, that will help you so much. And even go so far as to say, I'm not getting on my phone or looking at my phone until I do my hyperfocus journal or my morning routine, or if you do it in a notebook, whatever you want to do. That's going to help you stay on track. And you're going to have to fight against the urge of not, because we need a dopamine hit, right? If you have ADHD, a lot of types of ADHD, we need a dopamine hit. So we want to get on our phone because we get an instant hit of dopamine. But what you can develop is getting a dopamine hit from doing your morning routine. So you have to eliminate distractions, get rid of the phone, or put it in, like I said, I have hyper focus mode. You can create whatever mode you want, but it helps so freaking much. So again, I don't know if my podcast producer edited this part out with when my son Lane called during this podcast, but see, he was able to get through on hyper focus mode because he's on the list. I need to eliminate Lane off the list. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so eliminating your distractions. And so tomorrow, what I want you to do and the rest of the week, start a note section on your phone, title it distractions, and make a list of all the things that you find you're easily distracted by. Is it laundry? Is it notifications? Is it scrolling news feeds? Is it whatever this is, make a list of all the things that you're easily distracted by. And then those are the things that you know when you need to focus on something that you're going to need to eliminate. Again, clutter is something that's an easy distraction for me. Like I'm like a dirty little messy hamster, but I'm also can't work if there's clutter. So it's this constant battle for somebody with ADHD, and we're all different because there's 7 different types, but I can't have clutter. So this is why, again, our systems in place. Lane, you need to clean out the dishwasher. When you don't clean out the dishwasher, then I have to live with the clutter of the dishes in the sink or on the counter until you do your job, because I can't do my job until your job is done. And that's so good for our kids. They're getting on a system, on a routine. They're realizing we all play a part, and it's a team, it's a team effort. But yeah, so that I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, don't get mad at Lane, but like, get your job done. I need this done. Get out of bed and do your work so I can do my work, because I need the distractions eliminated. Okay, number 9, making lists for literally everything. We talked about the hyperfocus journal. This is the reason why my brain, like I said, in my 20s, I went from being this horrible student, distracted, unable to focus, all these things, to now using it as my superpower and be able to build a 7-figure business. That's because of the system, the hyperfocus journal. And part of that is list making. So not only do I make lists like for my goals and then my brain dump to-do list, but then I use the note section on my phone every single day. So Joey and I, we have a cottage. This is where we live during our house fire. And we have a cottage on the chain of lakes in Spread Eagle, Wisconsin. The 3rd of July is like the thing of the year. If you have a cottage on the chain, and they have fireworks out there, and it's just like this big deal. So we every year have our family over, and we do like a little tiny get together, and then we all go out on the boat and watch the fireworks. Since we lived there after the house fire, we literally moved out to move in the new house, and we haven't been back. It's just like, it's clean, but there's still some of our stuff there. There's some clutter. It's just not ready for the 3rd of July. Let's put it that way. Like, the blinds haven't been open once. So we have a lot to do. So what did Joey just like, oh, I go, so what do we have to do? And remember, it's not now, it's later. So to me, I ask him every single day, what do we have to do? What do we have to do? Because I want to know from my brain, but it's not now, it's later. So my brain can't absorb it because it's not now. So I decided I need to make a list. Why am I doing this to my brain? So I made a 4th of July list, tasks that we need to do, what food am I going to have, and all the things that we need, and just brain dump all the stuff out with like little, they have on your note section, you probably know this, like little circles, so you can actually click the circle, and it checks the task off the list once it's accomplished. So I make those type of lists for literally everything in my life, like everything. Obviously, if it's for my goals and work and daily things, that goes in my hyperfocus journal. But like for something like this, the 3rd of July, that needed a list, because then I send it to Joey and we collaborate together on the note. And so just today, I got a text from him that said, just so you know, I ordered X, Y, and Z from Crispinia's. So that's off the list. So because and that would have just been in my head, you guys. And guess what? In my brain, the ADHD brain, it probably would have gotten forgotten. I've literally ordered this stuff and forgot to pick it up. Like, that's just me. I need a list. You need a list. If you have ADHD, you need to work from a list. I'm telling you, it's going to help you. So I made a list for that. Oh, I make a list for the boys. So we were having a problem, and you might have saw this on my social media or might have saw the reel on this, but we have a blended family. I'm a stepmom, and we are trying to teach our kids responsibility. So a lot of times the kids will come back over from their other parents, and then they forget their cleats, they forget their hat. I mean, it was becoming a every single week situation where something was forgotten. So we said, you guys need to start. We want to teach responsibility. So we create it. So what do? Create them a to-do list. I'm like, here's a checklist. So every Thursday night, review the checklist. Friday morning, go through the checklist. Make sure you have all the things that you need to bring. So then you're not forgetting anything. Because listen, I get it. I have to work from a list. Otherwise, I'd be doing the same thing. And so then there was some drama about that because anyways, there's some drama that we shouldn't be teaching, having the kids, because that's not their responsibility and we shouldn't be pressuring them. No, kids need to remember their crap. And if they have ADHD, which I'm not saying that any of the 5 kids do. Actually, I already told you that Hudson does and Lily is on the spectrum, but I'm not saying anybody else does. I'm just saying everyone can benefit from these coping mechanisms for ADHD brain. Anyone can benefit from these. Everyone should work from a list. Why wouldn't you? Get your thoughts and the tasks that is swirling through your brain out on paper. So no, we believe our parenting style, and you don't have to agree with this, is to help our kids become confident, happy, responsible, independent adults someday. And it starts at age 8. Like, it starts when they're in the home with us, because once they turn 18, bye, we don't have that control over them. Why not use all of these moments as teachable moments so we can develop these confident, happy, responsible, independent kids, right? So that's our belief that's our goal as parents. That's our belief with parenting our children. And so we believe into creating lists and helping them be responsible and reminding them of their belongings. So then over time, they don't need us to be there holding their hands, doing everything for them and reminding them, because it's going to come natural for them. It's like muscle memory. That's what's going to be like for you. You are going to be creating these lists and getting all these tasks out of your head. And then another great tip on creating lists, and then we just have one more thing, is that it gets the things out of your head, but also you can reuse these lists. So like the 3rd of July list, I can search 3rd of July and go from my list from last year and see what I had if I created that list, and see what I had for food. And I can even uncheck all the check marks and just use that same list. So when I pack for Disney World for my family, I have a Disney packing list and I reuse it every single trip because it's the same stuff I need. And then I can add to it, delete from it. So sometimes when we create our lists on our phone, those things can be repurposed over and over and over again. And that will save you time and save your brain energy. Okay, number 10. Here's a tip for you. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. So when we have something come up and you're like, oh, I'm going to do that later. Oh, okay, I got to do that. I'm going to do that later. That's what we do as ADHDers. What we're going to do now is have that mantra running through our head. I got to do it now. I got to do it now. I got to do it now. Because here's why. If you just get it done and do it now, then you won't give yourself the opportunity to forget or give yourself the opportunity to procrastinate. That's another characteristic of people with ADHD. So you're not giving yourself that opportunity. You're just going to do it now and train yourself to be a do it now type of person. Okay. But side note on number 10, we are very impulsive. People with ADHD are very impulsive people. So sometimes it's not a do it now situation. So in that moment, when you have a task come up and you're thinking, I got to do it now. I want you to, and creativity strikes. So you're just whatever. We want to jump to the next thing and jump. Oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. But here's what you're going to ask yourself. You're going to pause and then you're going to ask yourself, does this need to be done now? Because it might be one of those distractions that are pulling you away from what you actually really need to do. So I want you to think about that. So I want you to be a do it now mindset person, but I also want you to take a step back, think about it, pause, and ask yourself, does this need to be done right now? Okay. And if it doesn't need to be done right now and you can do it later, here's what you're going to do. You're either going to take a picture of the thing or you're going to put it in your hyper focus journal, write it down to do later. And I know this in the like 1 through 10 and you've heard this when you listen to my doctor give me my diagnosis. Sleep is so huge for a ADHD brain. You need to have 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. Okay. So, and you need to also keep your stress down. And using the hyperfocus journal and using these coping strategies that we shared today, that you will notice if you actually do what was said today, you will notice your stress levels going down, especially using your journal. Like that is across the board. When I get testimonies from people using this journal, across the board, people say, I feel less scattered, more clarity, more peace, and less stress. Hands down, less stress. That is what people are saying that use this journal. So that will help you. But sleep. So another thing that might help you get more sleep is I put my hyper focus journal right next to my bed. Okay. And before I go to bed, I like to either do something like a nightly journal prompt or like what was the 3 best things that happened today type of thing, or or I want you to open the next page, your daily page for the next day. And by the way, my journal is undated. So if you only want to do this or if you forget because you have ADHD and you forget to do Tuesday, but it doesn't matter. It's not dated. It doesn't matter. And if you just do it Monday through Friday and you don't want to do it in the weekends, same. I do the same thing sometimes. Doesn't matter. It's undated. So that's really nice. Okay. But so writing down, opening the page, your next day, tomorrow's daily page, open it up and get anything that's lingering in your mind out on paper, like tasks that you have to do. Cause those things we're busy brain. Our brains are busy. And so we're thinking about what we got to do tomorrow and blah, blah, blah. And we're prioritizing the tasks inside our brains and thoughts are running wild. Get that crap out of your brain. Put it in your hyperfocus journal, put it on your bedside table and go to bed. That's it. That's going to help calm your brain down and help you sleep better. And then the next tip for sleeping better that helped me so much, and melatonin doesn't work for me, and I know it works for other people. I know CBD helps people. I know all these things help people. None of it helps me. And so how I've healed my brain since my diagnosis, because I did have to do a protocol and supplements and things like that. And one of the things was getting better sleep. And so I added a supplement called Magnesium Plus B6, I believe, and it's by the brand Seeking Health. So I will put that in the show notes so you can look into that supplement, do whatever works for you. But this supplement, I take 2 of them every single night, and I have never slept and it's not like that weird sleep. I don't have weird dreams. It doesn't wear off and then I'm awake at 2 a.m. It literally, I go to sleep for the whole night. And most nights, obviously, I still struggle with sleep because I want to do and I want to get up and I want to, I'm hyper. My brain's hyper. So, anyways, that has really helped me with my insomnia because sleep is something like that is, if you are not getting enough sleep, you are aging your brain. That is one of the things that you have control of, and that's free to you, that you don't need a spec scan to tell you that you don't need a doctor to diagnose you for. You need to get sleep, especially if you're a woman. You need sleep, and especially if you have ADHD. Okay. All right, you guys. So that was 10 ways that I've learned prior to diagnosis and after diagnosis that has helped me be able to use my ADHD as my superpower. I really hope this was helpful for you. I had been meaning to do this episode for so long. I plan on doing way more episodes on ADHD because I feel like obviously I'm attracting like-minded people, and I have ADHD, and a lot of you have wrote me and said that you struggle with this as well. And I think it's just fun to talk about and to relate and share stories about it. So I think if you want to go back and listen to an episode, what that was really strong, like showing I had ADHD, was probably my pet peeve episode with my best friend Melissa, who I guarantee she's undiagnosed, but I guarantee she has ADHD too. And then one that could help you, well, they all would. I mean, the show is called Obsessed or Not Interested. And all episodes are created by myself, which I have ADHD. But a great episode would be my morning routine episode. That would probably help you a lot. And that is it for today. And I will talk to you next week. Seriously, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I love connecting with you on social media. So if you guys want, please shoot me a DM at either our podcast Instagram, which is at Obsessed or Not Interested, or even my personal Instagram, which is at Mindy Wender. I check them both, so either is fine. Oh, and truly, if this has helped you even 1%, if you could do me a huge solid and leave me a rating and review, that would mean the world to me. When you guys do that, here's why I really love it. It's because it helps the podcast be able to reach more women who want and need this. So truly, that is like the best compliment you could ever give me, is just leaving ratings and reviews for this podcast. Anything that I talked about in today's episode, any links or resources, you will find that in the show notes. Thank you for listening to today. Can't wait to chat more in the DMs, and don't forget to tune in next Tuesday.